Okay, here we go. Second video for today's word problems. This is part 2. We're talking about area, and really the idea is we're just going to do a couple more problems, just a little bit more practice. We'll make sure that we can read a problem, figure out what the problem is asking, get some basic information from the problem, then use it to solve for whatever is being asked of us. So here we go, part 2. We have a length of wire that's cut into several small pieces, and each of those pieces is bent into a square. Each square has a side that measures 2 centimeters, and the total area of the squares is 92 centimeters squared. Find the length of the original piece of wire. So, okay. Find the length of the original piece of wire. Here's what I know. Okay, so I'm going to take this wire, I'm going to chop it up into little bits, right? Each of those little bits is going to be folded into a square, and each square has side length that measures 2 centimeters, right, all the way around. So, well, I know that each one of those squares, if I look at that, that takes 8 centimeters of line of wire in order to form that, right, to bend it up and make 2, 2, 2, and 2. That's from the perimeter. I also know that the area of this square happens to be base times height, which is 2 times 2. It has 4 square inches between it. Right? So there's a little bit of information that I can draw. Well, the total area of all those squares is 92 centimeters. If each one of the squares is 4 centimeters, I wrote inches, 4 square centimeters, well, that means 2 would be 8, 3 squares would be 12, 4 squares would be 16. If I took 4 times x, where x is going to represent the number of squares, maybe I could use n instead, it doesn't really matter. 4 times some number of squares, this should be equal to 92, right? So I take 92, I divide both sides of this equation by 4, so the 4's go away. I must have had 18 squares. That's a pretty good start to the problem. We're not quite done, right? Because it asks us, what's the length of the original piece of wire? And so this is where, what am I doing? 18. Anybody confused by that one? 92 divided by 4 is 23. Sorry about that, guys. 23 squares. Well, here's what I know. In order to form that square, it needed 8 centimeters of wire. I have 23 sections that are all 8 centimeters apiece. So if I take 23 times 8, I should get the original length of wire. 23 times 8 turns out to be 184 centimeters of wire that was necessary. Okay, one more problem. This one's pretty typical because now it's going to involve some money. You're angry at your dog Fido for ripping the paper from problem number 3 in the last video. So you tied him to a pole in the middle of your yard using a 10-foot leash. So here is the pole, and here is a leash. That leash is 10 feet, and here's your dog at the end. You do not have to be a good artist in order to be a good mathematician, thankfully, right? Fido proceeded to dig holes in the yard everywhere that he could reach, so you had to reseed the lawn that Fido destroyed. So if we look at the area that is reachable by Fido, assuming there's no sheds or houses or anything in the way, it's probably going to be like a circle, right? He can get anywhere within that. What's the area that he could reach? Well, that looks like a circle, so area is pi r squared. And the radius in this case happens to be 10 feet, so we're going to take 10 and we're going to square it to get 100. The area in this case is 100 pi square feet. Now, you buy a few bags of small grass seed. They cost $8.90 each. Each bag claims to cover 50 square feet of lawn. How much did you spend to reseed your lawn? Well, here's what I know, is that if I had 1 bag, I can cover 50, and 2 bags that cover 100, and 3 bags that cover 150, so on and so forth, right? So I guess what I need to do is I need to figure out what that area is. 100 pi doesn't mean much. It's not 50 pi square feet and 100 pi square feet, right? What it is, it's 100 times pi. Well, if I take 100 times pi on my calculator, I'm going to get about 314 square feet, right? Because it's 100 times 3.14, give or take. That's good enough for this estimate. So if I keep on going out, it looks like 4 bags would cover 200 square feet, 5 would cover 250, 6 would cover 300, or almost there. It looks like you needed 7 bags. That would get us over the 314 mark, right? Good handwriting, too. I'm just showing off here with this video, my penmanship. Okay, so if I needed 7 bags, and they were $8.90 a piece, I take 7 times $8.90, and 7 times 8.9 is equal to $62.30. Nice job, Fido. Well, that's the second video. That's just a few basic examples of some word problems that we're going to try to solve. I will tell you this, the problems I'm going to have you solve in class are going to be much more difficult, but since we're solving them in class and we're there together and we get to work in groups and I'm there for help, you know what, I'm going to push you a little bit. So, you should be ready to go. Bring these to class and show me you got your notes completed, and let's do some word problems.